Good morning. We're doing another Hai Young Zendo uh, video. And I think it was attributed to John Lennon that he said, life is what happens when you're busy making plans. And I got busy about 6 months ago. I got busy making plans. Even though I know better. By now, I know better. Let life come as it comes. But I had this idea. I said, okay, I want to make basic meditation available to, I want to help make basic meditation available to more people. And I opened up, got a sign out front, and arranged my garage a certain way and made it so that Hai Young Zendo, with the idea being that I could teach all different levels of meditation, from beginning meditation to more advanced meditation. Advanced basically means being able to sit for longer periods of time. In my mind, that's all advanced is. Uh, the process of meditation didn't change much. It just changed in the sense that you learn, first of all, you learn just to relax and let come what come. When you rid yourself of expectations and preconceived notions of what meditation is, and just sit, relax, sit, and enjoy the ride. Basically, enjoy the ride. And then you learn to recognize the monkey mind and be at peace with it. Let it ramble, let it blah, 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 like that mind, that conversation that most of us have going on all the time. Just acknowledge that, but you learn to ignore that. Anyway, this is kind of my encapsulation of meditation. The most important thing is that you daily practice and that you attempt to sit for the same period of time, and you spend as long in meditation as you're comfortable with. You never want to force anything. And I found an hour to be optimal. If you can get to the place where you can sit for an hour, it's considered advanced meditation. And even I might spend 4 hours a day in meditation when the Spirit moves me, but I do it in 1 hour increments. At least I will pause and stretch and get up and straighten my back and wiggle my shoulders, and then maybe sit down and go again if I'm really intent. And only occasionally, when momentous events, when big cosmic changes are happening, when transitions are happening, all bets are off. I'll sit there as long as I need to sit there. And I'm pointing like that because my favorite meditation chair is right here. Anyway, Hai Young Zendo. I opened it, I got a little bit prepared, and thought that I would make it available, keep the it's in my garage, and I have a big slide up door, so keep it open and just meditate. And I did that for a while. At a certain period of time, make a Facebook page, post hours, and then summer came. And summer kind of bailed me out because my garage, even though it's covered with a clear plastic or roof cover. So it protects you from the rain, but the heat was just too much. And I had to go close hours on my Facebook page and just say closed due to heat, because it's just, I couldn't sit there and I couldn't expect anybody else to sit there. And then things happened during that period of time where I was in my air-conditioned office, bedroom, meditation studio. Studio in the sense of not studio apartment, but production studio. Be that as simple as it is. And lots of stuff transpired this summer, but part of the big process of something that happened that I'll save, it's going to be my culminating, I think I'll save it for what happened this summer. I'll save it for my culminating number 333 video, which will be the end of this incarnation of sharing on the YouTube. It'll be 3 years, probably in January, I think. Yeah. And enough is enough. But I've said everything I needed to say. But anyway, Hai Young Zendo, big plans. And then during the summer, I realized that I was in a fragile state in that more things were occurring in my awakening evolution. Awakening is a continual process. There's always another step. Step, 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 step. It doesn't stop. And you can't really rest on your laurels, which is what I thought. Hai Young Zendo, I make it available. And two obstacles were immediately obvious. Number one is I don't speak Mandarin, and I live in Taiwan, surrounded by Mandarin speakers. So how am I really going to share? Colleen, my wife, isn't ready to, even though she's Taiwanese, she's not ready to take on this role of either, preferably for me, leading the meditations, or secondarily translating for me. And then I became very aware that because of the latest transition, I'm always kind of reclusive anyway. At my best, I'm kind of reclusive. But when I'm going through a transition, it's complete inner focus. It's basically withdrawal. As much as I can withdraw from the world as it finds me, I will. As much as I can cut off any distractions, because I'm so busy downloading this information. It's just now it's faster and faster. And of course it takes, and during this download process, I'll say this, it happens in dreams, but basically it happens in meditation. So I find myself meditating 3, 4, 5 hours a day when I'm in this middle of this download. And then of course I have to sit with it like I always do, and I call it process now. What am I going to do with all this information? Well, it takes weeks of processing, and I notice that when I'm processing, I'm not formally sitting. I'm busy just processing is enough. So all my waking hours, it takes, this last download, it's taken months to partially process all this information that I was downloaded with. But anyway, we're back to my idea of Hai Young Zendo went out the window, and I just realized that I can't make myself available to whoever happens to walk in the door. It's just not for me. I practice daily, and I'll talk about that later, about processing, about ridding myself of my daily accumulation of karma, something that we all need to practice even after we're awakened. Buddha had karma to deal with just by one, exposure to his devotees, his followers, and then his own personal, just being in this world, in a body, you're accumulating karma, and you have to have it. I have to have a daily practice of ridding myself of just my own accumulation of karma, daily karma, and hopefully I'm working on it. It's getting less and less. But remember here that the caveat, when I say karma, people always think bad. There's no difference between bad karma and good karma. It's all karma, and we want to be karma free. So even though in the world, when I say it's no different, the impact on the world of your bad actions, of course, is greater than, but hopefully it's countered by your good actions. But anyway, karma simply means action. And as long as there's action, and that means even the simple act of sitting in meditation and breathing is still action, isn't it? Heartbeat, contact with other people. So a daily practice, I have a daily practice of burning the karma, my personal accumulated karma. And I'm pretty good at, so open and so receptive. Right now I'm too open. So I receive all this karma, and I've watched other people get burnt out by just being willing to take all the karma and not really totally 100% equipped or paying enough attention to rid themselves. So it kind of accumulates, and there's a price to be paid. And when people lead big groups, and they're able to lift the karma from temporarily while at least they're in the meditation hall, but then that is on there. It's got to go somewhere, and without a conscious effort, anyway, it takes a toll. And right now, it's too much for me. So I realized while I had the downtime, fortunately, the summer came, and that's the positive of this long, hot summer, is that I just realized that my idea of teaching meditation, or on probably any level, or almost teaching anything, was not for me. And it's funny, I revisit, at least as I'm sitting here in front of you, who knows what the future holds? But part of the reflection was going back to old things. There's this concept, it's an ancient concept, it's called mastermind. It's surrounding yourself with a group, and the number of people, like Jesus, for example, there was 12 disciples and he made 13. So this idea of a mastermind that's working, it can be smaller, it can be bigger, but 12 seems to be the optimum. 12 plus moi, 13. So this concept of mastermind came back to me again, and I revisited it. I revisited this mastermind idea, and I'd already eliminated the idea that it was going to be available to whoever walked in my door. And then I took it a step farther, and I said, okay, well, this is one way to introduce people and maybe accumulate some followers, people who will support me, at least emotionally and spiritually, and people that I can work with, people that I can teach. My people, the people that resonate to me. And then I realized that I'd never had a grand, I was thought, if I had 100 people that regularly participated, either online, locally, 100 people would be amazing. But 100 can grow to 1,000, and 1,000 to 10. I've seen it happen. And I just knew that the micromanagement, the amount of attention to growing the group is something I'm just not interested in. It's not my job, man. And I don't think there's much threat. I don't think there's much threat of having tens of thousands of followers, or even 100. But anyway, this mastermind, this idea that I've played with and I've worked with, and Napoleon Hill talked about it, and Andrew Carnegie talked about it, and one of the classic masterminds is Harvey Firestone, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie. So Andrew Carnegie was steel, Henry Ford was the automobile, but automation, and Firestone was rubber, the tires. So they every summer they'd go away, and it wasn't hard in those days, in the mid 1800s, to go out somewhere and be eliminated from, cut off from the world. They'd secretly go somewhere fishing or stay in some private lodge that had it, and they spend a lot of time talking and brainstorming. And this was only 3, But this is a mastermind group. And then I realized that, hey, that's the direction I need to go. That's the direction I needed to go, is to have a small, tight group of like-minded souls, people that were dedicated to waking up, to remembering the forgotten, people that had already committed and understood. They didn't need any convincing. They didn't need any sales pitch. They were already in. And I started calling it Sages for Ages. And the idea is that it's a group cooperation. And I'm looking towards 12. And I think I'm 9 or 10 now. And I don't know, I haven't really put a limit, but the idea kind of grew. First of all, we cooperate on even, I'm not the teacher. I can offer my experiences in the hopes that it might be of some use to them, but I make myself available to questions that they might have, because I've been through this experience of remembering the forgotten, eliminating the ego, eliminating all fears, recognizing the oneness, the wholeness, recognizing most importantly how ordinary I am for getting this. No kudos to anyone that's awakened when it's the natural condition of human beings. Let me say that again. Awaken, remembering the forgotten, which is your wholeness, your oneness, the interconnectedness of everything, is the normal condition of mankind. So just because you reached it doesn't mean, but on the other hand, you've successfully done it, and you have an opportunity that you might be able to share at least your perspective on this and encourage others. So this group, Sages for Ages, I then started understanding that it would have another use, because this inner group, and historically all Buddhas have only had a very small core of people that they shared with. And that's why people say, oh, it's secretive. And no, it's not secretive. You've got to protect the master, the beloved. You have to protect him. But you also have to be committed to your own self-perpetuation, to your own self-understanding, to your own awakening through your own efforts. But this mastermind, this group that's kind of formed around me, I see it as, let's go back to my original concept of tossing a pebble in the water. And increasingly larger concentric circles will grow from the point of impact. So I see myself as that point of impact, and the concentric circles will grow. And they will do this. It will go to the seashore. It will go to the edge of the pond, and you think it stops, but actually, all actions, all reactions, go for affinity. It doesn't hit a wall and stop. So this enhances our personal responsibility to not put bad things out in the world. To try to put good things out in the world, because the expanding. This is what helping all sentient beings really means: living the life, sending out good circles. So anyway, I saw the drop in the first circle. It's smaller. Again, concentric circles grow. It's smaller. Then I understood. Aha, I had a little epiphany, a little understanding, a little enlightenment. This is a good way to use enlightenment instead of awakening. I was in the light for a moment when I saw that this small group could have many functions. First of all, I want to keep this personal. I could work on with everybody on a personal level in this small group. Secondly, they could start protecting me like a zone of comfort, a zone of protection. And that I understood that as if there are to be more concentric circles, if it is my destiny, that my humble teachings, my simple, humble teachings will attract more people. The first circle will be responsible for as a barrier. People won't be able to come to me directly without coming through, without having a member of the original group come to me and say, Hai Young, can you meet with them? And this has happened already. But it was done properly. And it protected me, and then I'm prepared, and it's always like one or two people, and I can deal with one or two people very easily, and I can deal with the overwhelming insight that I have to people. When I meet somebody, I see everything about that person. I can't help it. Maybe I'm too open, but I can see everything. One look into their eyes tells me everything. I know their secrets, I know their ambitions, I know their true heart. And that can be a bit overwhelming if you think about it. Maybe over time, with more practice with this gift that I have, now that I've eliminated judgment, and I want nothing from anybody. That's the bottom line. I want nothing from anyone. I don't want recognition. I don't want accolades. I don't want titles. I don't want money. I don't want anything from anyone. And I truly mean that. It doesn't mean that, because when people gift you something, if you're too small, say, oh, no, I don't want that. You have to, some people receive a pleasure by giving, a fulfillment by giving. And you have to accept that in a open-mindedness. The Rinzai tradition I was brought in, the Roshis started in my Zen experience at the age of 33, which was almost 39 years ago. The Roshis were not vegetarian because people would, in the best of spirits, people would give them offering and they accepted it. They accepted it with a clean and open heart. Let people do things for you if they truly want to do that. That can be your gift. Those people say, oh, no. I think that you have to let people, if it's a sacrifice, and they feel sacrifice and you feel that, it's fine to say, oh, no, thanks. Nice offer, but thank you. But if it's a sincere, and you should know sincerity from expected social behavior, then you have to wholeheartedly accept. So if my trajectory is that my group will grow, it will grow in concentric circles, just as I understand the consequences of our actions grow in concentric circles and affect everything and everyone. So the first 12, and I open because I'm trying to keep this on an even keel, an even footing, I've let people invite people that they can vouch for, invite them into this mastermind group, Sages for Ages. So if it's to expand, it'll be, number one, naturally. No promotion, no effort on my part. In fact, quite the opposite. Inaction is more appropriate for me. I'm much better at inaction than I am. Let's put it this way. Actions bring consequences for me. And even the most well-intended intentions that I might have just seem to backfire on me. I say, well, trying to help somebody, but I think trying is the key here. You either help somebody or you don't. Yeah. The sun doesn't try to come up in the morning unless it's cloudy. And that's another story. But the natural growth for me became apparent. And that I have this tight core that I can work with always on a personal basis. And these days of COVID, everything is online. I don't see us getting together as a group for quite some time. I don't see the point. Where I can interact very well through the graces of Line, Messenger, and Facebook. I do short videos for my group, not like these longer 33 minutes that I do for the general public. This is my gift. This is how I interact with the public. And it's really nice because I'm just looking at the camera and I just see my smiling, I see my smiling face, and it's approving. My face approves of everything that I'm sharing with you. So I've surrounded myself with an appreciative audience, which is myself. But anyway, I just see that I don't see much past this group. But if there wants to be a secondary circle and a third circle, and it will grow naturally from outside people talking to the inner workings, the inner group, and then becoming another group. And people will approach them, and they'll approach the inner group. That usually how it works. The inner group, and then the inner group will approach me. And if there's growth to be had, that's the way. But again, I have no need for any of that. It's a great place to be when you realize that you want, need, expect nothing from anyone. I just told my brother the other day, and he did a double take. I said, expect nothing from everyone, and you'll never be disappointed. And I stand with those words. I expect nothing, and I certainly won't experience disappointment because I expect nothing. It's only when we have expectations, even of myself. I have no expectations of myself. Why? All I need to do is stand by, watch, listen, internalize, process, find, sort, evaluate, ruminate, and then organize in an accessible way. Then the method to your madness that you can find, and then you kind of even relax from that, because what I know now is that if I don't know something in the moment, I don't need to know it. I know what I need to know when I need to know it, and if I don't know it when I thought I needed to know it, or when I tried, like in the losing a word or losing somebody's name. I mentioned Casey, a psychic, and I couldn't remember, Edgar Casey. I couldn't remember his first name in the last video that I did, but there it is, Edgar, and it came to me. Maybe I needed to know it then, but when I was talking about him, I didn't really need to know him because it was just an aside, just additional information. So I'm just sharing with everybody now that I see the path for me is a mastermind, creating this small group. I'm looking at 12, but I'm not closed-minded to know that maybe the inner group can expand, but I still have the same purpose, that I can personally share, that people can ask me questions and I'll respond usually respond the same day. And I try to do 5 to 10 minute short videos, because a lot of my non-native English speakers say that following me for 33 minutes is sometimes too much, even if they watch a couple times. So I'm keeping it short and sweet. But I still need to complete this cycle of 375. And now I'm on 296 total of 333. So there you have it. And that's only a small fraction of my summer to realize that. And I have a sign up front, Hai Young Zendo. And when I leave at evenings, I plug it in, and it's a good landmark. And I've actually had people tell me they've seen the sign and wondered about it, but no one has really stopped and rung my doorbell, because it's just, Taiwanese people are haisho, which means shy. So maybe they wanted to, or maybe they haven't, who knows, but nobody really has. The only visitors I have had are people that's already in my small mastermind group. And there it is. So be aware of your surroundings. Be careful in these days of COVID. And just remember, I think today, if I left with you, it's about expectations. If you expect nothing from anyone, remember, you'll never be disappointed. And no one wants to be disappointed, do they? The world only is a treasure to me. There's no disappointments. Even this summer also, I had to deal with several health issues, and I'm medicated for a heart condition. I've had open heart surgery. I have to take a blood thinner every day, and I take one blood pressure medicine, and then I'm down to a half. But it took me this summer. I had to adjust. I found myself extra sensitive to things I put in my body. I found out during the summer that I couldn't eat meat anymore. I had a gourmet burger from a really good source, but my body just rejected it. I didn't feel well. I felt dizzy. I suffered from low blood pressure, which is an indication that I was over-medicating with my blood pressure medicine. Anyway, I had some digestive issues, and it was a summer full of growth and challenges. And I accepted each with equanimity, a balance. Didn't underreact, didn't overreact, but paid attention. And I solved the physical ones, other than getting on my bike and getting my lazy butt outside and riding now that it's cool enough to ride. Other than that, been pretty successful summer for me. It was good to be back to this format. I enjoy sharing, and I hope this was helpful.